Michelle Obama said something recently that I think she should apologize for.
People think I'm being catty by saying this. It's like there were 10 years when I couldn't stand my husband.
Just in case you didn't catch that, the man that she said that she couldn't stand for 10 years just so happened to be the 44th president of the United States of America. That's kind of a big deal. Where else do you even see this? What other wife of a high-ranking official would even say something like that? That was wildly irresponsible. It was flagrantly disrespectful, and we cannot have a civil society where the First Lady of the United States thinks that her celebrity status supersedes any type of public respect that she should have for her husband, okay? She needs to apologize for that. You know what? As a black woman, it's embarrassing. And I'm tired of that narrative. It's sickening. Please, enough. Do you ever see the president of France's wife saying this kind of stuff? No. Queen Elizabeth speaking that way about Prince Philip? No, and she was the Queen of England. Do you think Vladimir Putin's wife, if he were still married, do you think that she would say something like that? Absolutely not. But if Michelle Obama says it, it's supposed to be okay. It's not okay. And I don't expect most black women to hear me on this, because most black women were not raised in a household where the man is in proper leadership. They weren't raised with fathers in their lives. This is not a condemnation of her. This is a condemnation of that type of ideology and mentality that thinks that it's okay and it's all right to say that in public. It is not. If that is how you feel, keep it to yourself. There are certain things that you don't let out of the house when you are a married person. You're the First Lady of the United States. She knows this. I thought feminism means equality. Actually, no man can get up and say that they hated their wife or they couldn't stand their wife for 10 years. And on top of all of that, this man for 10 years that she couldn't stand, he's kind of the whole reason we even know who she is.
All right, so, okay. This is a lot, okay? This is a lot. If you have been watching my channel, then you know I actually covered that whole entire conversation where she was talking about, you know, marriage and how people kind of get into marriage and hop out of marriage. Like, a lot of people do not want to stick through the tough times, right? A lot of people go into marriages, into relationships, and they just want the wedding, right? They're focused on the fantasy, what they fantasize over, the party, showing out in front of their friends, their homegirls, their family members, you know, and they don't focus on working through tough times. They don't understand that not every day is going to be the happiest day of your life when you're married. Not every day is going to be butterflies and sunshine and rainbows. Like, it just does not work like that, right? And so Michelle Obama, who's been married to Barack Obama for years, okay, for a very long time, she came out and she spoke about the hardships of marriage, the actual truth. And she even went further to say that it's so distasteful and disheartening to see a lot of these, you know, people giving up on marriage because they don't feel good or they don't feel happy at the time or they don't feel this, and was giving a lot of encouraging advice, okay, to be honest, the advice was for women. So it was basically saying, not because you see this cookie cutter family image, you saw us in the White House, you saw me standing next to my husband and supporting my husband, you saw our children, you saw our beautiful family unit, does not mean that every day was perfect. And so putting her celebrity to the side, she's like, we're real people. We go through real things. We've had real problems, real drama, and every day hasn't been happy. There's been a span of years. Again, Michelle Obama went in to say, you know, she went into depth and said it was when our children were little. And it was an extremely hard time in our marriage between the two of us because we had to adjust to new normals every time that the children hit new milestones, yada, 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 and free. Okay, she broke it down, layman's terms, spoke to women about it. Had like that heart-to-heart, like mommy to daughter moment or sister to sister moment, telling the truth. It took me watching this video a couple of times before I actually realized that this woman was not making a joke, that she was actually serious about this. Because Not only did Michelle Obama receive backlash from women saying, oh, well, I'm not going to deal with that kind of struggle of, or I ain't going to be in no type of relationship where I'm not happy. As soon as I'm not happy, I'm out. You can go ahead and preach that struggle of if you want to. I'm not doing that. Not only did she receive that on the back end, but now you mean to tell me that she's getting criticism from women who think that they are more conservative than she is because of her telling the truth about real life situations? This is part of the problem. This is part of the problem because a lot of women who get married don't have counsel from women who have been there, done that, and who have actually experienced hard times to come back and say, hey, you're not alone. Yeah, we know it's hard. We know that there's hardships that you go through. We know that there's difficulties, but that doesn't mean that you give up. Because there's a duty involved in marriage. It's not just about feelings and emotions, right? Things can change. Feelings change. You can feel one way this moment, and the next moment you might feel differently, but what is your purpose about? What is your duty connected to? And now this woman is coming up like, oh, well, we only know you because of him. Okay, if you want to talk about other countries and other places and how they deal with their president or whatever, take that up with them. Here where we are, especially because he was the first black president, black entertainment, black news places, like black celebrities everywhere, like made them into that. It became a separation of they're just a president. They brought them into entertainment spaces. People who were a part of the entertainment industry wanted to be around them. When Barack Obama was president, it was a very, big thing to him, for him playing like people like Marvin Gaye and him talking about hip hop. It was about the connection to the black community. Okay? If we want to be real, let's not act like, we see black people all over the place reigning and ruling and having that same connection with their society. It was a big thing for Americans. So no, you're not going to see other people talking like that. No, you're not going to see other people moving like that because it's the same people in power all over. And I'm just talking about places like where she's bringing up, like the UK and stuff like that. When Meghan Markle was a part of the royal family, what happened? The celebrity came because it's something different than what we've seen before. So yes, there is going to be a vast difference in that aspect. However, again, that sense of community between us as black people as a community, do you think that even in churches, right? I'm going to use this for an example. In churches, the first lady acts a certain way, the pastor or the bishop or whatever, he acts a certain way. There's like a certain code in how the first lady is supposed to act and how the pastor or the bishop is supposed to act. She portrays a submissive nature and she speaks in a certain tone and she's not disrespectful and she wears certain clothing to set the example. But if you ever get them to actually talk about relationship and marriage, they tell you, if you're under good leadership, they tell you the truth. Because what good is it if they're selling you a story based on a facade? How is that going to help you grow? People don't need to see marriages where people are like, oh yes, that's my husband and I'm going to stick beside him and everything is perfect and we don't have any problems. That's why when people go through problems, they don't know who to turn to because everybody's trying to save face and not be real enough to tell the truth. But she said a lot. Okay, she said a lot. So I'm going to play the video again, and I'm going to break it down a little bit more.
Michelle Obama said something recently that I think she should apologize for.
People think I'm being catty by saying this. It's like there were 10 years when I couldn't stand my husband.
Just in case you didn't catch that, the man that she said that she couldn't stand for 10 years just so happened to be the 44th president of the United States of America. That's kind of a big deal. Where else do you even see this? What other wife of a high-ranking official would even say something like that? That was wildly irresponsible. It was flagrantly disrespectful, and we cannot have a civil society where the first lady of the United States thinks that her celebrity status supersedes any type of public respect that she should have for her husband, okay? She needs to apologize for that. You know what? As a black woman, it's embarrassing. And I'm tired of that narrative. It's sickening. Please, enough. Do you ever see the president of France's wife saying this kind of stuff? No. Queen Elizabeth speaking that way about Prince Philip? No, and she was the Queen of England. Do you think Vladimir Putin's wife, if he were still married, do you think that she would say something like that? Absolutely not. But if Michelle Obama says it, it's supposed to be okay. It's not okay. And I don't expect most black women to hear me on this, because most black women were not raised in a household where the man is in proper leadership. They weren't raised with fathers in their lives. This is not a condemnation of her. This is a condemnation of that type of ideology and mentality that thinks that it's okay and it's all right to say that in public. It is not. If that is how you feel, keep it to yourself. There are certain things that you don't let out of the house when you are a married person. You're the first lady of the United States. She knows this. I thought feminism means equality. Actually, no man can get up and say that they hated their wife or they couldn't stand their wife for 10 years. And on top of all of that, this man for 10 years that she couldn't stand, he's kind of the whole reason we even know who she is.
Okay. Now, in her same exact words, this is not condemnation to this woman. This is the condemnation to her ideology and her mentality towards this situation. He is the president of the United States, the 44th president of the United States, to you, to me, to everybody else who only knows him as that. To her, that is her husband. Let's keep it real. We need to stop acting like people don't live real lives. And again, the fact that they have made themselves so personable, both of them are. Okay, and he is also not the president of the United States as we speak of it right now. He was. When we speak of Barack Obama, black people, they always say, oh, well, he's still my president. He's still my president. But at the end of the day, he was the president. When he was in office, she did not have this conversation. Look how long it's been. We have a whole 2 other presidents. Okay, let's be real. She waited to have this conversation. She didn't, while he's in office, say, oh yeah, I couldn't stand him. She did not do that. She supported him in office. We did not know any of this information. We did not hear these conversations. So let's not play like, oh, she was this unsupported person and didn't play this role. And, she's done something that she should apologize for. I genuinely feel like there's nothing to apologize for. I think it's actually such a help when you see a woman go on these different platforms and have these conversations, again, speaking of the hardships. Because nobody talks about that. People encourage marriage from day in and day out. Oh, when you going to get married? Oh, you should be married. Oh, you shouldn't be shacking up. Make sure you get married. And they never talk about what it's going to take to sustain a marriage. And she's doing that. In the wake of all of these divorces that we're seeing pop up all across the globe, especially in our own community, in the entertainment industry. So I think it's actually a very beautiful thing that she's doing. And then what I thought was very ironic is this woman saying, oh, well, I don't think that black women will support me on this because a lot of them didn't have no daddy and a lot of them don't understand the leadership roles, which is why they need the assistance on how to stay married in the tough times, because they already don't know or understand the hierarchy when it comes to marriage. So that was actually what she thought she was saying by saying that comment. She's actually saying the opposite. Because a lot of women don't understand what it is to see male leadership, how about we talk to this woman who was married to somebody who was in the strongest leadership position in our country and see how she explains the leadership, the situations that they go through, although he's in this leadership role. Although, they went through these things. And I want to say another thing. She never said, okay, Michelle Obama never said, I couldn't stand him while he was president. When she's talking about when she was going through a tough time, it was when he was a nobody. I'm not saying he's nobody, but I'm saying We didn't know who he was. He was not who he is now. He was not president. This was a long time ago. That's why she can resonate to the people who are going through tough times, because she was in that space, in that state way back when. She knows, she remembers, and she's telling people and encouraging people, stick through it, stay with it. I do agree that there is things that should stay within the household and things that you should not bring out, especially when you have any kind of discourse with your husband. But her advice was not disrespectful. She did not belittle him. She did not say, well, he wasn't this and he wasn't that, and it's because of me, and it's because she did not do that. Okay, she spoke from a very real perspective, and I think that a lot of times people get ahead of themselves. And I'm not gonna lie. That's why with me, people can hear what I'm saying because I'm speaking from a real perspective. I'm not speaking from, oh yes, you know what, I completely agree and she should never do this, because there's real situations in real life that goes on. Every situation is not the same. Every conversation is not the same. We literally have seen President Trump's wife fan him off, not hold his hand, not stand beside him, look extremely unhappy while he's in that seat. Have we ever seen that with Michelle Obama and Barack? No. So if she wants to come and spread knowledge to other women who think that she has it easy or think that she never went through anything and that marriage is supposed to be this perfect picture, and whenever it's not the perfect picture that you walk away, and she wants to encourage women to stay the course, I support that 100-fold. But of course, you know, everybody's entitled to their own opinions. I'd love to hear your opinion about this conversation in the comment section down below. Make sure you guys hit that subscribe button and give this video a thumbs up, and I will see you guys in the next video. Love you.